We believe it is our mission to protect and care for people and their environment every day. Pioneering future-focused cleaning and hygiene solutions. Trust the experts to select the best hygiene technology matching your site's challenges and your sustainability vision. Diversey, your global partner for responsible hygiene solutions.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Season 4 of the Diversey BW Hotelier Show. We're in day 2 of the 4th week, and the show's had an amazing run until now, and hopefully we'll do even better as the season progresses towards the end. We're just about half time through the season. So this season celebrates the evolving leadership journey of Indian general managers, leaders who today drive not just hotel performance, but influence markets, ecosystems, and entire city narratives. Our episode today explores a powerful transition, the shift from general manager to city CEO. Hotels today act as business hubs, cultural platforms, and employment generators. This is the biggest employment generator. And of course, tourism catalysts, placing general managers at the center of urban leadership. Today's general manager is no longer confined within hotel walls. Increasingly, general managers are emerging as economic, cultural, and social influencers, shaping the cities their hotels operate in. I thank you for the phenomenal response to Season 4 thus far. This season has opened with some of our strongest viewership numbers ever, and we remain grateful for your continued engagement with the GM show. Permit me to introduce someone I really look up to. At one time, years ago, when I was a permanent resident in his hotel, he was the general manager. He's come a long distance, and somebody I love bringing to the show to hold on as my partner is the moderator, Pankaj Sampat, who's the area director operations and also the general manager, Taj Krishna, Hyderabad, a respected industry leader known for operational excellence and strategic city-led hospitality leadership. He's also stayed a good term in Colombo, and I had the honor of staying when he was helming the Taj Samudra there. Welcome to the show, Pankaj.
Thank you, Bhuvi. Thank you for the kind introduction, and happy to be part of this episode as well.
So happy to have you back here, Pankaj, our 3rd season together.
Absolutely.
All right. Pankaj, with your permission, may I get rolling and introduce the other speakers on the show?
You are the boss.
All right. We are the boss. Now we lead the show. First in is my good friend, all the way from Hyderabad, Rubin Cherian. I've had the great honor of staying in his hotel. Rubin is the general manager of the Novotel Hyderabad Convention Center and HICC. Phenomenal asset. Welcome to the show, Rubin.
Thank you, Bhuvanesh. Great to be here once again for the 3rd season, for the 4th season, but 3rd time participating. Thank you for having me. It's a real honor and privilege.
Fantastic. Next in is somebody who's a great friend. All of them are. Rakesh Sethi, who's the general manager of the Jaipur Marriott Hotel. Not very old in Jaipur, but a quintessential hotelier. Welcome to the show, Rakesh Sethi.
Lovely to be back on the show, Bhuvanesh. Thanks a lot.
Screen on kar lo.
There
Ye
you go.
baat. Ye baat. All right. Next in is my good friend from my Babaji's abode in Amritsar, Jitender Sohal, who's the general manager for the Radisson Hotel Group. The area general manager for the Radisson Hotel Group in his territory, and also the general manager for the Radisson Blue Amritsar. Welcome to the show, JP.
Thanks, Bhuvanesh. Good to be here again.
Thank you, my dear. Next in is the newest general manager on the show. He's the general manager of the Hilton Jaipur, Rahul Bhagat. I shall be staying with him soon. Rahul, welcome to the show.
Thank you. An absolute honor, Mr. Khanna, and good evening to all my fellow GMs as well.
Thank you for being there, Rahul. Last but not the least, a brand new general manager in a brand new hotel, Roopa Singh, who's the general manager of the Renaissance Goa. We shall hear more from her and about our hotel as we get along in the show. Welcome to the show, Roopa.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna. It's a pleasure to be here.
Such a delight. Such a delight. Thank you for your time. So we are at 4:06 and let's get cracking immediately with the permission of Pankaj. I shall roll the dice. And may I begin with the first question to you, Pankaj, so that we set a context?
Sure, we should. Let's
All
start.
right. There you go. Pankaj, are today's general managers consciously preparing themselves to function as city leaders? Or has the industry organically pushed them into this expanded responsibility? The general manager is evolving. So I'll let you respond to this. Please go ahead.
So, Bhuvi, my thought is that general managers, once they move into a city, they get into the expanded role immediately. I think what happens is they become just not the GMs of the hotels, but also ambassadors for their hotels within the state where they operate or the region that they operate. And eventually they start representing themselves and their organizations in various events, boards, etc. So just to give you an example, Rubin and myself, we represent Hotel and Restaurant Association of Telangana, HCBB, etc. So that role comes in automatically once you move in as an area director or general manager in the respective city. Then secondly, of course, the second part is that each of our hotels are economic drivers in the respective cities that we operate. So it's looked upon pretty much in terms of our performance when the city does well, and so does the hotel does well. So I think this is a big responsibility on GMs to drive the overall performance of the city as well. It's not just only the hotels, but I think city performance is also driven by GM. So that's the expanded role. Third is while we look at the interest of various shareholders, we talk about owners, we talk about partners, we talk about the vendors, etc. I think, but the other important aspect of our business is the community. So I think the community in which we operate, we are also becoming more and more responsible in terms of what we do, local hiring, etc. So I think that's point number 3. And last but not the least is I think we all become cultural or destination ambassadors, because what we do in our respective hotels, predominantly, we try to bring about the pride of the region, the pride of the city that we work in. And I think that's what we contribute to. So I think these are some of the things which I think this role comes in automatically rather than a preparation. I think we are kind of, we get absorbed into this additional role of being city ambassadors or being responsible towards the city more or the state where we operate from. And we're just not only hotel general managers at that point in time.
Yeah, very well said. God has given us this opportunity of not just representing our brand. We are, these are cities which give us breathing time, which create prosperity, not for the people who live there, but for us, our family. And very rightly so, it's only becoming on ourselves to give back to the environment, which also includes the city. So thank you so much, Pankaj. This is your show. Permit me to do the next best thing, hand over the baton to you and have a ringside view as you get rolling with the action. Thank you so much.
So actually you put me into the hot seat, and happy always to be in this hot seat. So my first question for the evening is for Rubin. Rubin, seen you very closely here in Hyderabad. So you have a large convention hotel, and that often defines the city's narrative. So my question to you is, how as a GM do you balance the commercial performance while positioning your hotel as the city's economic engine? I think this is a question for you, and you're the right person to answer it.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Pankaj. I mean, I will go beyond what you've spoken because it's in continuation to that. We happen to be in the same city. And this particular hotel of mine, the Novotel Hyderabad Convention Center and the HIC Hyderabad International Convention Center is, in fact, next month we'll be celebrating our 20th anniversary. So this hotel has seen the transition and has grown with the city. So, I really feel that a hotel, a large convention center or a larger hotel plays a very pivotal role and a very important role in kind of growing with the city. So my first submission would be kind of thinking beyond the hotel walls. I mean, running a large convention property means you're not just operating a hotel, but you're like helping shaping the city's business ecosystem. Every major convention brings, thousands of delegates who contribute to airlines, tourism, and local businesses. So I mean, next would be for managing a large convention-led destination building. Your infrastructure should support, like for example, in our convention center, we do large scale events. That's in our DNA because this in fact was the first purpose built convention center which is built in the country, and we've been hosting over 6,000 delegates, which allows Hyderabad to compete with global convention destinations. I mean, 5 years or 7 years prior, we were the only largest option in the country. So most of the international delegations 10 years back, 15 years back, all used to happen in Hyderabad and in this convention center. So again, for getting large international businesses, we need to first position Hyderabad. Telangana, then Hyderabad, and then the hotel. So our role goes beyond just hosting events. It's about positioning Hyderabad as a credible global meeting destination by delivering world-class infrastructure, hospitality, and experiences. And I've been attending enough and more international expos because there you need to first sell India, then come to Telangana, then come to Hyderabad, and last is when you pitch for your actually hotel. So you're actually pitching for the city first, and when the infrastructure supports that, is when you actually are able to pitch for business for your own self. And finally, I would say the large convention hotel GMs have to be city ambassadors. Today a GM's role kind of goes beyond just operations. You need to be ambassadors for the city, just like you mentioned, showcasing its growth, capability, and potential to the global business community. I mean, in a nutshell, I would say what a successful convention hotel needs is not just the hotel that grows, but the entire city that grows with it.
And actually, when Rubin does well, the convention halls are full. City of Hyderabad does well. All of us are also full. So I think we always pray that there are large conventions that happen, and it helps all of us in Hyderabad. So I can vouch for that. So yes, Rubin, and with that, I would like to head to Rakesh. Rakesh, my question to you is that in fast-growing destinations like Jaipur, what's the role of the GM in shaping tourism and taking the confidence of tourism beyond the hotel itself?
Well, Jaipur, I've been here for a month and a half now, so still learning the ropes, but lovingly called the Pink City. We all know why. Hospitality here is not only about accommodation or food and beverage or banqueting. It's in the bigger scheme of things, it's the story of the destination itself. So when guests arrive in Jaipur, they are not checking into a hotel. They are stepping into a city which is steeped in royal heritage, history, vibrant culture, and timeless charm. So in a dynamic landscape like this, the role of a general manager would naturally, extend beyond the hotel walls. The GM then becomes an ambassador for the destination and helps shape the narrative of the city. Now, this city balances heritage with modern tourism. Within traveling time of 1 hour, travelers can experiences a whole spectrum, starting from historic forts to bustling bazaars, cultural traditions, and contemporary hospitality at the same time. So very few cities in India, let's say all around the world, can offer such a unique blend of old world charm and modern experiences. And that's what sets Jaipur apart. What we also do is through constant collaboration with the travel partners, tourism boards, local artisans, and industry stakeholders, we try and contribute to building trust and confidence in the destination. So just like Rubin said, first you choose India as destination, then comes Rajasthan, then Jaipur, and then the Marriott in Jaipur. So that's the way we also go about being, the largest room inventory in the state of Rajasthan. A lot revolves around my beautiful hotel, so which is a proud moment for me. Equally important is creating experiences that reflect the city's culture within the hotel itself. For example, what we try to do here is evenings we do a traditional puppet show. We've got authentic delicacies on our buffet, and then we've got one of the most popular Rajasthani themed restaurant in our hotel. Ultimately, the goal is to ensure that travelers leave just not with the memories of a great stay, but with the stories of Jaipur. And when they go back, they carry back with them a slice of the pink city.
Oh, that's very nice. And that's what most of our traditional cities offer, Jaipur, Jodhpur, Udaipur. Each of them has got its own story. So great. Happy to know that, Rakesh. And with that, I would like to move towards Rahul. Rahul, you're also based in Jaipur. So, of course, there is competition in cities. You are aware of that. There's a strong competition. Everybody wants the same piece of business. So my thought and my question to you is that how does a GM ensure that this competition does not take away the contribution of the hotel and the GM towards improving the city ecosystem? I think that is what I thought, that each of us is responsible in some way to the city, but with competition, how do you enhance the ecosystem in the city? So that's the question to you.
Thank you, Mr. Sampat. In fact, a very proud hotelier today because I don't know if you remember, I prayed under you at the Taj Mahal Palace and Tower way back. And today to share this dais with you obviously adds a lot of merit to everything that I do. But yes, coming back to the question that you asked, as part of Jaipur, in a state where tourism contributes 16% of the GDP with an ambitious target of crossing 20% by 2030, it's imperative that all of us as general managers have become community anchors rather than managing isolated buildings in our capacities. And how do we do that? In fact, I believe moreover, I mean, we have become more collaborators rather than competitors in everything that we do here. Whereas we talk about collaborating with our neighborhood businesses, which could be yoga studios, tour operators, local artisans and performers, and how we can give them a platform so that it not only benefits our businesses, but it tries to keep the revenue source within the system itself. Also, let's talk about business community integration, which has become very important. I think it's become a priority for all of us to give importance to local sourcing. So I think a lot of our hotels, we would be almost doing 50 to 60% of our sourcing, which is locally, which also helps us to reduce our carbon footprints by almost 30 to 40% because you're eliminating the long transportation which is needed at the end of the day. Our hotels have become platforms where we showcase local talent, which is in the form of art, music, or even tradition. So a lot of our hotel lobbies are buzzing with puppet shows, the traditional bangle making, the traditional welcome that Jaipur and Rajasthan is famous for. It only enhances and adds to the guest expectations and experiences, again providing a lot of local entrepreneurship to the people who are residing here. I think we've also become brand ambassadors in terms of upskilling. So, I mean, Rakesh is obviously on the panel. We both collaborate a lot in terms of representing ourselves into local hotel management institutes, because I think that's where the future talent lies. And it is imperative for us to give them the platform, whether it's from training or in the form of our shared discussions where they can understand that their future is in good hands, because that's where, as we all know, that major employment is going to come. But let's talk about also something such as shared destination growth. I mean, first thing that you think about Jaipur is probably Hawa Mahal, but there's so many other hidden gems that are there in the city that we would like the people to see, kind of recommend and also promote them, so that there is are not a lot of dependency on only few of these destinations. There is an wholesome experience to guests, and also new experiences that are being created to attract the people who feel that I've already done that destination. So that's my
Correct.
suggestion here, Mr. Sampat.
Also, you've got some great artisans in most of these places. I think the ecosystem, if you really kind of look at developing artisans, etc., I think which is already done. It's not like it's not done. But I think it's a great way to kind of boost the ecosystem further, So, and I think we're doing a lot. So this upskilling bit that you mentioned is also a part of that, So I think it's brilliant, I think it's a great thing to do, and glad to see it happening in Jaipur, and of course in many other parts of our country as well.
Thank you.
With that, I would like to head to Jitender. Miss Singh, Roopa Singh, my apologies. I should have actually asked you the first question and I just realized it. But I thought, let me go with the flow, there was a flow which I had thought in my mind. My apologies, but it's a little late. But I'll end with you and I'll start with you the next round. So, but I just wanted to tell Jitender. Jitender, I think in managing multiple markets requires a macro vision, and as a regional leadership role that you play, how do you help align hotels with broader urban development trends?
Yeah. Thanks, Pankaj. I think it's a very, very important question in the scheme of the things here, because you see, when you look at different markets have different trends altogether. So I think when you manage multiple markets, it requires a lot of balancing at the property level performance with a broader regional vision. So the regional leadership per se, if I say, a very crucial role to play. They need to understand what are the urban developments, how can we remain aligned to it. There would be infrastructure expansions that are happening, and looking at that, how evolved or mature a specific market is within the region. So in other words, it would be like having a bird's eye view across all the multiple cities that you are looking at, and enabling hotels to ensure that they learn from each other's successes and challenges within the same set of hotels within the region. Look at probably what are the travel patterns, what is the emerging guest profile that is coming, what are the shift that's happening in the demand, and maybe the best practices of one hotel could work in other hotels. Also it helps benchmarking between the same properties within the same region, which can help us optimize the pricing better. We can market better. We can actually create better guest experience strategies. So that's one element that I look at. The second element out of this would be that if we are able to anticipate what is the kind of infrastructure development that's going to happen in an area, let's say, for example, maybe an airport is coming up, or maybe highways are coming up, or maybe some convention center is coming up. So if you're able to anticipate that well in a region, I think it kind of, these developments can align the hotel's position and marketing campaigns, in a much better. Like, for example, it could be an area which needs more of MICE, and, you could be very well placed in time and learn from the other hotels who may be MICE in your own region for that matter. Then I did speak about a little in my earlier thing when I said that market maturity, and that's something which works. Like, if a market is mature, often the focus is on brand differentiation. You see, guest experience. What are the premium offerings that we do if the markets are mature? If it's an emerging market, what are we doing? We are, like I heard somebody say that we had to market the destination. So what you basically see, you need to build awareness about that place first. Look at strategic partnerships to stimulate the kind of demand that you think is in that particular area. Just for an example, we opened a hotel recently in Fagwada. We are the first hotel company to open a hotel there. And everybody would say that, listen, what is it? Why are you opening a hotel? There's not a single brand. There's not an international brand that is coming there. But we did identify a market, which is Indian diaspora, the NRIs, because that belt is probably the most densely populated belt from where every household is in some country or the other. So I think if I have to kind of sum it up a little bit, I would say that, at regional leadership level, we bridge the gap between hotel performance and the broader development, urban development that is happening, basically enabling our hotels to be more agile, capitalize on the infrastructure growth, adapt strategies based on market maturity, whether it's an emerged market or emerging market. So the result is that a portfolio then grows cohesively while maximizing opportunities in each city. So I think that's where I'd like to end. Thanks.
Nice to know. In fact, some of this destination creation also is a very important aspect of tourism over the country. And I can share a small experience how at one point IHCL created Kerala as a destination. What you said about Fagwara, that's a new place that you've created. It's a great thing to do, to start a new destination where nobody's gone before. I think it's a great way to start. I think it's a fabulous thing to do, and I appreciate, it's a lot in terms of contribution to the country as well. So, and with that, I would like to end the first round with Miss Roopa. Miss Roopa, my apologies, as I mentioned earlier, but my question to you now is that with resort destinations becoming lifestyle hubs, how does a GM contribute to shaping the perception of the entire destination like a place called Goa?
First of all, thank you so much for this question, Mr. Sampat, and you do not need to apologize. That's perfectly fine. I think this question is very, very exciting, and I'll tell you why. Because this connects me to my brand DNA, which is discovery. And I would like to, as everybody's spoken about that, how their city is different. I think Goa as a destination is often seen through the lens of beaches and nightlife. And anybody coming to Goa, they first think about beach and they think about nightlife. But I believe that there is more to Goa, right? Goa has a lot of Portuguese heritage, it has art, it has neighborhood, and moreover, it has the strong local community, which I think people don't tend to see when they are visiting Goa. But I was a pre-opening GM for a Renaissance, and Renaissance as a brand is a very, very unique brand and not a very known brand in India. And I had a high accountability on my head that how do I bring all the brand experiences to life. There is a signature program which is called Navigator program in Renaissance, right? And as I said, that as a pre-opening GM, I had enough time to go and explore that what is Goa all about and what is Goa actually known for and what is true Goa. So I would like to share a beautiful example. I think we have created multiple experiences for the guests because I believe a destination is something which you really show it to the guests through the experiences which you have curated within the destination. And to give you a brief about one small experiences which we have created with the team is about a Diwar Island. I'm sure all of you must have visited Goa, but I'm not sure how many of you would have experienced an island which is there within Goa, right? Which is a beautiful island. So I've curated a half-day experience which is there at Diwar Island. I mean, we make the guests cross the river through a ferry. We take them to a life which is a very, very different and a very unique life. And the moment guest enters to an island, I think the overall perception of Goa begins to change for them. They get to experience maybe some old churches. We make them walk the silent streets and they enjoy the traditional Goan delicacies which are being made into a local home. That's one experience, and I think that's where they actually get to know the Susegat life of Goa. And I'm sure you all have heard about this word, but we really experience it as a team while curating the experiences. And we have created this experience, which is a ferry, a day at Diwar Island. But there are other experiences which we have curated for the guests who are visiting Renaissance Goa. And to name a few is like Fontaines Heritage Walk, which is being curated. We take the guests to a 100-year-old bakery. We take the guests to our 100 years old Portuguese house, wherein we make them experience the local wines of Goa or the local ferry of Goa. And I truly, truly believe that when a traveler is connected with the people and the tradition of that particular destination, I think the perception of the destination or the perception to Goa shifts from a beach holiday to a much deeper culture experience, right? So we really, really wanted to get connected to our brand DNA, which is discovery and which is Navigator. And we really promoted saying that our Navigator shows you a Goa which is away from a Google search, right? We show you a Goa which is an off-script Goa and which you can't find onto Google and which is something very, very unique. And I truly believe that the role of a general manager really evolves, not just running a hotel, but maybe helping the guests discover the authenticity or the authentic story of the destination.
So this is really very, very informative, Roopa. In fact, even I didn't know this part of Goa. So for me, Goa was as much as for anybody else. It's a place of beaches. It's a place for restaurants. It's a place for having a good time. It's a place to just kind of chill and unwind. But this side of Goa, what you shared with me, at least today, I think it's an eye-opener and a very different way of looking at a place, So thank you for enlightening all of us today, in fact.
It was my pitch for all of you to invite you to my new hotel, wherein I see limited guests right now.
coming. But having said that, Goa, each destination has so many different angles to pull you in. Goa, for instance, is a huge sports and pilgrimage destination, right? And also, you must remember, manufacturing activity is really kicking in strong. Do you guys know IFB is manufactured in Goa?
Good.
Right? Garware wall ropes, a whole lot of
Yes,
industry.
yeah.
The Salgonkars. So yeah, great
Yes.
destination.
Dempo, there are mines. There are mines
Tempo.
there.
Yeah,
Dempos, the mines there.
yeah. All right. So I'll take a short break, Pankaj. 25 seconds, and I come back. We must express our gratitude again to Diversey.
Sure.
At Diversey, we believe it is our mission to protect and care for people and their environment every day. Pioneering future-focused cleaning and hygiene solutions. Trust the experts to select the best hygiene technology matching your site's challenges and your sustainability vision. Diversey, your global partner for responsible hygiene solutions.
Thank you once again, Diversey. You've really supported this show over the seasons, 4th season running. And this means a lot for the industry, for all of us, from the media, me, and from the hospitality industry, all our friends who've appeared on the show. If this industry has to go places, we need support to carry the message through. All right. So, Pankaj, we're well past this first half. We're now stepping into the second half. Why don't I begin with the next question for you? Pankaj, looking
Please
ahead.
go ahead.
All right, Pankaj, looking ahead. Your best place to answer this. Will success for a general manager increasingly be measured by city impact as much as hotel performance, and a whole lot more, responsible hoteliering, sustainability, and how do you look after your environs and the city?
So going back to your question, Bhuvi, as I mentioned earlier, I think we had different set of KPIs when we started off as general managers, I think many years back. But I think in today's day and age, I think our KPIs have changed. We also have got some new KPIs in terms of what we do for the community. And I think each hotel company, like for example, in case of IHCL, we've got Pathya. So we do Pathya in terms of, so we have identified the kind of initiatives that we would do. And whatever we do, we try to do it as much as possible locally, which impacts the community. And this is, of course, there is a KPI. So there is an impact which is there, it's measured, and it's not like something which is superficial or taken for granted, but it's something which is very systematic, very systematically kind of measured, and therefore there is an impact which is there. So that is one. Two is what we do today in today's day and age, everything is pretty quick because of this advent of social media. So I think whatever we do in terms of as a hotel, positive, negative, the impact is seen very quickly on social media. So I think guests' comments, guest feedback, etc., comments about even things, simple things like, for example, if your hotel has got an event where there's a loudspeaker noise which is disturbing the community, somebody tweets, your responsibility is to act upon it very quickly today. So I think that's the kind of impact that we have, just not as a hotelier within the hotel, but also the city where we operate in. And last but not the least, I would say is that today is a very different world with a lot of impact of artificial intelligence. And I think artificial intelligence makes a huge difference in the way things get perceived. And how do we manage that perception? So I think that is also a very important aspect of our leadership, where we do a lot of management of perception as well. And I think basis which I think the city judges not just the GM, not just the hotel, but the brand which operates all of this. So I think as GMs, we've got a very important role in terms of managing perceptions, which is not necessarily the true case, sometimes, because it gets manifested, etc. But what I'm saying is that irrespective of whatever happens, as a general manager, what we do is we also manage perceptions, which are very important. And therefore, the impact is not just the hotel impact, it's also the brand impact. So I think that's my answer to your question, Bhuvi.
Lovely. I always knew you're the one who's got the best position to navigate through this, but thank you so much. The baton is back to you.
So as I promised, I would like to start with Roopa, this time. So Roopa, in my second round, I'm going to start with the first question to you. And the question is, as the traveler expectations shift towards authenticity. So this is something which you mentioned today, that today you are creating an experience which is authentic. And again, this question is relevant because you just mentioned it is how do GMs ensure that the hotels reflect the true spirit of the city that they operate in?
Sure. Once again, thank you so much for this very, very exciting question again. And reason being, it is again connected with my brand. And I'll try to showcase you how the Renaissance brand is connected through these questions. So Renaissance is a lifestyle brand. And I think one of the strongest pillar of Renaissance as a brand is neighborhood connection. And we always try and look for ideas that how do we bring the neighborhood into the hotel and allow our guests to feel the spirit of Goa. I mean, even if they do not want to step outside the resort, how do we bring things inside the resort for them? And I think a lot of my colleagues over this call, two of them who are from Jaipur, have spoken about that. How do they bring Jaipur culture inside their hotel, whether it is a puppet show or another rituals which are happening. So whenever we think about the evening ritual or anything which is happening in the hotel, and we generally think about evening ritual in the hospitality is all about high teas. Sometimes it is ceremonial, sometimes it is about a sundowner, or maybe bringing an artist from the outside inside the hotel and showcase it to the guests. That's how the overall culture of this place is, right? In the similar way, I think Renaissance has a very good ritual which is called evening ritual. So just to enlighten everybody, Renaissance is not a food and beverage brand. It is known as beverage and food brand because it is a beverage-led hotel. And we talk about beverage first before talking about the food, right? And we do have a beautiful ritual which is called evening ritual, and that has everything to do with the beverage. Right now, our idea was that how do we bring the neighborhood again to the hotel and showcase it to the guest. So every evening we invite all the guests to the courtyard of our all-day dining restaurant, which has a very natural and open character. And at the center of the courtyard, we present a very large punch bowl where our bartenders mix all the local spirits. And I'm sure all of you would know that Goa has a very rich beverage culture, from Feni to locally brewed craft beers and indigenous spirits which are being produced in the distilleries of Goa, right? So all these, and this punch bowl is being created with all the local spirits along with all the regional ingredients to create a signature punch, and that is shared with all the guests who are present for that evening. So that's the evening ritual which is being conducted in the hotel. Many travelers have heard about all these local drinks, but they rarely experience them in a very authentic way. And I think it becomes very social, very engaging moment for the guest on daily basis. And there is every day a unique identification of the place which is being done by the team. And we take this engagement every day to a unique place of the hotel, because the hotel is being beautifully designed and every corner has some story to tell. So it also allows us to take the guests to the different corners of the hotel and tell them that what is the story of this corner and how do we connect this overall corner of the hotel to the uniqueness of the neighborhood connection. And the ritual takes place every day, every evening. And I think that has been one of the most unique ritual which is being conducted so far. And we are getting a lot of praises from the guests who are coming and using Renaissance Goa. But I truly believe that when experiences like this are woven into the guest journey, I think the hotel begins to feel like a true reflection of the destination rather than just being a normal place to stay, because that's there. The hotels are there. I think one of the gentlemen here mentioned that guests do not come to the hotel just to stay in the hotel or just to utilize the food and beverage and go back, right? They really, really want to come because they wanted to experience something very authentic. And I think these days everybody is trying to create something which is very authentic and which is connecting you to the destination. So that's one of the example I wanted to share with everybody. Again, another pitch to invite all of you to Goa.
So I like the spirit. Can I say that? Because it is really apt for Goa. I just like the spirit, So with that, I would like to ask my next question to Rubin. Rubin, has hotel become mixed use and event driven spaces, how is decision making changing for GMs managing complex urban assets? Yeah.
Okay, so before before I answer that, yeah, I would connect it to what you said about decision making. All of our GM's KPIs have changed so much over the years to what it was then, where it was just property driven and performance driven, and now it's diversified so much. Apt word, since Diversey is our partner, it's diversified so much. So we'll have to look at a much more broader decision making window before we actually kind of pinpoint. So to coming back to the question, for me, decision making, it all begins with leading at scale. Like when you manage a complex like the Novotel Hyderabad Convention Center and the Hyderabad International Convention Center, you're not just running a hotel. You're kind of leading a whole ecosystem of events, dining, exhibitions, and guest journeys happening all at once. Hence, diversifying revenue stream is a key. Revenue today kind of doesn't just come from rooms; it comes from large conventions, corporate events, weddings, even restaurants. The fuel growth. Last year, in fact, we had so many different pop-ups and takeovers, and we've seen that as a good trend and a good to have. Then cross-team collaboration is like super important, because these larger events succeed only when every team, whether it's operations, culinary, tech, sales, moves in sync. And as a GM, we have to ensure that all these moving parts align so that guests never see the complexity behind the scene. Then maybe comes the managing infrastructure and logistics, where when you're hosting thousands of delegates, infrastructure is really a key. Advanced AV systems, energy management system, crowd management systems. So planning ahead and upgrading yourself is really key. Sustainability is a big must have, again, to all of us, and for us at HICC, it is one of the very strong pillars. And we are the only convention center in the world who've actually invested in India, who's invested almost 1,800 solar panels, and 50% of my entire power consumption is through solar. So not only is it green energy, but I'm saving almost like 14 lakhs per month. While I'd invested about 3.5 crore on that solar, the whole system. The ROI is just about 2.3 years, which is absolutely brilliant. Besides that, and we are also proud of a boast of having atmospheric water in our rooms. It's not from mineral water bought from outside, but it's atmospheric water transported into glass bottles and put. So not only are we carbon neutral, we end up being carbon negative when it comes to these, and of course the other sustainable features like the EV cars, which I'm sure all of us are doing. So sustainability, yes, it is one of the important aspects while decision making. And finally, I would say, think of it like an urban hub. Large convention hotels today are like small cities inside a city. Every decision we make kind of ripples out, not just for the hotel, but for the kind of entire events and tourism ecosystem. And finally, it's about hosting events. It's about redefining how cities grow, connect, and thrive. And at the heart of our vision, when we lead sustainability, we are not just kind of reducing impact, we are kind of shaping the future on how cities and events come together.
That's really well answered, Rubin. You've answered every aspect of my question that I put to you. And I think I've been at the Novotel Convention Center and HICC, the magnitude of events that come up there.
Yeah.
The whole thing about managing everything together, I think it's a big Herculean task. And I think whenever I've been there, whether it's big shows, whether it's been big exhibitions, etc., I just somehow feel that it's all come together at the right. It doesn't feel like as if it's disjointed. It's all put. It's really come out pretty well. So
Thank you so
compliments
much,
to you and the team as well. So
thank you.
with that, I would like to move to Jitender, if I can ask you a question, as what roles do GMs play in talent migration and professional ecosystem development within the emerging cities?
Yeah, thanks. I think it's one of the talent is the key word nowadays in our industry, because I'm sure we all know that we have been facing a lot of crunch of talent when we say so. I think this is something which is very, very important in today's hospitality. So what I would look at it is that yes, especially when we talk about emerging cities, hotel general managers have to go beyond managing operations. It extends into shaping the local talent landscape, building a sustainable professional ecosystem is something which is very, very important. So what we have seen that skilled hospitality professionals, they generally tend to move to larger metropolitan cities, in search of greater opportunities. So as general managers or as senior leaders, it's the responsibility of us to create an environment where the talented individuals can feel motivated and they stay and they want to build long-term careers with you, in the local market, rather than being, they want to run away to the bigger cities. So that is something which is very important. So if we have to create a strong skill ecosystem, I think that's something which is honestly across the board, if I may use that word, that it still needs a lot of work. Hotels in emerging cities often serve as learning hubs, if we look at it from that perspective. So if we collaborate with the Hospitality Institute, universities, local training bodies, GMs can help nurture a pipeline of skilled professionals who can kind of strengthen the region's service standards and competitiveness also. And at the same time, like if I look into a region, I think it becomes very important that if there's a new hotel coming in somewhere and it's an emerging market, so we have a very nice healthy mix of people who've already been in one of your hotels in a smaller city, put them there and get some new talent from the local market and try and develop in a team which can be a little bit more grounded and people who can stay for a longer period of time. Apart from that, the same thing happens even when we talk about leadership. If you want to look for a hotel manager or a general manager in a smaller city, like for example, if I say Fagwada in this case, I think it becomes very important. What's the kind of person we want to put there? So I think in that case, if we have developed somebody within our own ecosystem, if I may use the word leadership mentoring there, right? If we have mentored somebody, we have developed somebody into a future leader who understands your organization, who's a young professional. Not only he's able to get operational expertise from the mentoring program, he learns what is strategic thinking, and he's also somebody who gives the company a leadership confidence, since the person is from within your team. So I think that's another mentoring of a leadership is something which is very, very important. And I think if finally I have to kind of sum it up, I would say the impact of hospitality leadership goes well beyond a single hotel. The sector is a significant driver of regional employment and economic activities, as we just, spoke about some time back. So I think investing in people, investing in skills, GMs can, contribute a lot in building a workforce. So it's not only that a GM in an emerging market or emerging city is not just managing a hotel. I strongly feel that they are helping build the future workforce for the region and, of course, for the brand.
And for the country as well, because people don't just stay in one region. Eventually, they move across the country. So I think talent management is so important that we create talent for the country as well in going forward. So I think I've well said, Jitender, really well said. My question now next is for Rakesh. Rakesh, how can hotels actively participate in shaping sustainable tourism growth rather than reacting to it? So how are we proactive as compared to being reactive?
I think that's an important one. I trust you can hear me. There was a bit of
yes, clearly. Right. Yes, clearly.
Great. So that's an important one. Thank you for directing this towards me. So in a city as culturally vibrant as Jaipur, we as hoteliers play a big role in not only accommodating guests, but how we can influence that the tourism grows in a responsible and sustainable way. So we here start at Jaipur Marriott with thoughtful capacity planning. Like I said, we are the largest, currently the largest inventory hotel in Rajasthan. So we closely observe travel patterns, peak season, things like visitor behavior, and then share in forums this information with the tourism bodies, local authorities, thereby trying to ensure that tourism growth in the city remains well managed and balanced. So the other part is, which is equally important, is encouraging responsible destination growth. So we try at our hotel, and I'm sure a lot of my colleagues also do in other hotels, authentic regional experiences ranging from traditional cuisines to local crafts. Promoting local craftsmen and artisans can go a long way in ensuring our customers have a meaningful and culturally sensitive travel experience. Another key element which is quite relevant these days is public-private collaboration. We as private operators regularly engage with the tourism department, city planners, and industry associations to discuss aspects that impact customer behavior, that impact travel patterns, and impact infrastructure, traffic management, and heritage conservation in a culturally rich city, especially like Jaipur. In the end, I would just like to conclude with a thought that I find very, very relevant and valuable. So, as an influential urban thinker called Jane Jacobs once said, cities have the capability of providing something for everybody only because and only when they are created by everybody. That's
well said. Yeah, well said.
That's how it
Very well said.
Thank you.
Very well said. Super. That is really a very well said. That's really very well said.
Thank you.
Just one question, Rakesh, how many rooms do you have? Sorry, I didn't know. You said you're the largest hotel. So what is the size of your hotel?
So currently we have 374 rooms only.
Wow, only 374. That's amazing.
Anybody here who exceeds his numbers? No. Chalo.
So my last question for the evening, and of course, that's to Rahul. Rahul, how do GMs today balance owner expectations? We've got owners constantly asking for ROI, etc. How do we manage their expectations with broader responsibilities towards the destination development, community, etc., all of that, So how do you do that?
Thank you for the question, Mr. Sampat. I think as GMs, and as I would like to call ourselves modern GMs, I think we become strategic stakeholders to align financial profitability with sustainable community impact. And I think it starts with having transparent communication with our owners, making them realize that this is not something which is an ad hoc, but it is our core responsibility to contribute back to the society that we are so richly, taking from, right? So, and also show them the larger picture that it is not about only sustainability. It's also about how they are giving back to us in returns, which are making us efficient through our cost-saving measures, which could be implementation of LED lighting, smart thermostats, or even water-saving fixtures. At the end of the day, the initial investment definitely goes in buying them, but ultimately the savings that come out of it is huge, and hence data sharing becomes important. A lot of our owners, when we give this relevant data to them, it has been very eye-opening for them, and then the implementation obviously becomes easier. For example, I mean, we're also a 12-year-old property. We've been operating our hotel with conventional boiler system laundry, and now ultimately we are changing the entire system to the much efficient electric machines. Now, obviously, the first thing that I did was to prepare an entire cost sheet of how the savings come across with this particular measures, because we'll be completely eliminating LDOs that we currently use. But also the important discussion was that how the hotel would be also reducing its carbon footprint in terms of eliminating completely the usage of LDOs in our system. Now, when we speak about to our owners in these measures, I think with the advent of time, they have also become very aware of these efforts coming into picture. And ultimately, it helps in the larger purpose of destination development, reduction of carbon footprint, and also aligning them to the visions of the company. You also spoke about KPIs, Mr. Sampat, during your initial conversation. I think what gets measured gets done, and I think at Hilton we have a program which is called Travel with Purpose, where all of us have been made responsible towards the larger reduction of our water impact as well as our community impact in terms of the resources that we use. And I think as GMs we are also being measured on that. But I think more than KPI, it's become a responsibility amongst all of us in terms of how we are contributing it back. So from small initiatives such as becoming 100% cage-free eggs utilization in our kitchens right now. So that's coming from a source which is absolutely conducive to our guests, becomes a talking point for our teams as well, to larger impacts of how we are reducing our food waste or converting the food waste into organic waste, which can be used into our landfills, to a zero discharge hotel where all the water that we use is ultimately recycled and brought back into the hotel, into our cooling towers or flushing systems. Hence, it's not getting wasted out. Ultimately becoming aware of what we need to do. Let's talk about the recent issue that I think a lot of us are facing about LPG, and a lot of us are ending up converting our kitchens into electric kitchens. Did we think about it earlier? I don't think so. But now, since there is an adversity has become an opportunity, which is making us think of how we can run our kitchens in a better manner without impacting any of the experiences around us. So I think it all comes down to sustainability and how we are becoming more aware and responsible as companies, as an industry, because I think when we speak about AI, as industries get impacted on employment, I think we are one industry which will thrive on human connection, and that's what my humble submission to this particular question is.
Yeah, so I think that's a really apt answer. In fact, I think the biggest thing is when we signed our agreements with the owners, I think that communication needs to be very clear at that point in time in terms of what the benchmarks are when we look at the HOA signing. And I think, of course, the communication, as you mentioned right at the beginning, that we do with them is extremely important. And with the transparent communication, I think we are able to convince them to also make investments which help in terms of reducing carbon footprint, sustainability, etc. So that's well said, Rahul. And with this, Bhuvi, do we have time for some quick rapid questions?
Yes, absolutely.
So I'll start with Roopa again. Roopa, so actually, let me start with Rubin this time. Rubin, complete this sentence. A GM, so this is for everyone actually. So a GM becomes a city CEO when?
GM becomes a city CEO when, personally speaking, when he handles multiple properties in that city.
Okay. Roopa, the next one is to you. Roopa?
Yes, I can hear you.
A GM becomes a city CEO when?
When they start demonstrating what all is there in the city for you to see.
Jitender, what do you think about this question?
I think when the GM realizes the larger picture.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rahul, what do you think about this question?
I think, Mr. Sampat, when we start building collaboration amongst businesses and stakeholders.
Well answered. Rakesh, your point of view?
Well, I think that happens when the GM transforms and evolves into a destination ambassador rather than being just a custodian of his or her own property.
Yeah, so there is no right answer. In fact, everybody's got a point of view.
Let me pull one out of Pankaj. Tell me. Pankaj, aap bhi batao. Answer that.
So, Bhuvi, I said that there's no real single answer for this. What everybody said, I would say it's a combination of all of these. You are the brand ambassador. You're just not looking after a unit. You are looking after multiple assets. You're not just worried about your hotel. You're worried about the community as well. You're worried about different stakeholders. I think that's when you become the city CEO. So I think it's not just only one hat that you wear. You wear multiple hats, and I think that's the combination of all the answers that I think that everybody gave would make you a city CEO in reality.
In short, a 360-degree manager.
Absolutely.
Right?
Correct. You answered it for me.
Yeah, there you are. So brilliant. So why don't you sum up the show, Pankaj?
So with this, I would like to thank all the participants and of course Diversey for putting this together. Rubin, Roopa, Jitender, Rahul, Rakesh, it was fun interacting with all of you. Happy to have Mr. Bhuvi, I would call him by Bhuvanesh is too
Always
long.
there.
Bhuvi. So Bhuvi as a moderator along with me, and very insightful feedback that we got from each one of you today in terms of understanding a role of a general manager is not just restricted to running hotels, but a lot more. And I think whoever is watching the show understands that we do carry a lot of more responsibilities than what people do perceive sitting outside. And with this, I hand this mic back to you, Bhuvi, so that you can conclude the proceedings for the evening.
Pankaj, this is not the first time I've done a show, and not the first time you've, co-anchored it with me. It's fun. The purpose of doing such shows is not just showcasing talent, is not just showcasing your point of view, but the purpose of this show, if I may say, is to make a larger reach to the industry, which is looking for talent.
Correct.
Or to the impressionable. I keep saying this today. I was at a larger forum. I said that this industry is gasping for talent, right? Our talent pipelines do not match our asset pipelines, right? Pankaj, I remember Mr. Chatwal saying that by 2030, you'll have 700 hotels. I was just speaking to him today itself.
Didn't he tell you he advanced the timelines earlier?
But he told me today it may be 2028.
That's what I said, so yeah,
Right.
it's advanced.
So yeah, so I've had a very interesting chat with him. When you hear them out, I think the industry action has not yet happened. It's going to begin anytime soon. Let the Middle Eastern problems get over, but they do not affect our industry. Our domestic industry is so resilient. It's bouncing and bouncing how. So we're sitting, touchwood, in safe hands, and it's all happening. Having said that, thank you, Pankaj, and also a huge gratitude to our general managers on show today for sharing that deep, relevant leadership insight. What clearly emerges is that Indian general managers today are no longer managing just a hotel, but influencing cities, destinations, and growth narratives by giving back, in the spirit of giving back, in the spirit of seva. Seva not just for their owners and brand, seva for the larger community, because they influence local employment for this industry, largest generator of employment. Season 4 has opened with exceptional participation and some of the strongest viewership the general managers show has witnessed. I request all our viewers and industry colleagues to continue sharing the show links across your teams, networks, groups, so that these important conversations reach a wider hospitality audience. While I look forward to welcoming you back in the next 27 minutes at our next episode, I must thank all the general managers again, Pankaj, and most importantly, Diversey, right? Diversey, thank you once again. I never tire of thanking you. I never tire of thanking Team BW and Team BW Hotelier. Bringing out these shows, show after show, week after week, day after day, hours after hours is not easy. Scheduling is not easy. It's not easy to pull out general managers for an hour from their 24/7 job, right? So thank you for your time. Thank you for your contributions. Thank you for supporting this platform and BW Hotelier. This means a lot, right? Before we go away, a short gratitude video for Diversey.
At Diversey, Diversey, we believe it is our mission to protect and care for people and their environment every day. Pioneering future-focused cleaning and hygiene solutions. Trust the experts to select the best hygiene technology matching your site's challenges and your sustainability vision. Diversey, your global partner for responsible hygiene solutions.
Okay, great. So let me begin by my standard operating procedure of gratitude before we close the show. Begin with the lady of the show, Roopa. Thank you, N. You're a great brand ambassador for women in hospitality, for the industry, your brand, and the job that you've taken on.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna.
Yeah. And Rahul, your first show with me as well. Thank you for marking your presence and for all your contributions. JP, you're a Purana Papi on my show, right? You've been there all through. Thank you so much. It's fun to be with you on the show. Same goes with you, Rubin. Right? Thank you for being there, my brother. Yeah.
Pleasure being, and kudos to you and the entire BW team for hosting such one and getting out such wonderful topics, for us to tickle our brains and come up with answers for it. So brilliant
That's
job.
the fun of getting you all in. Imagine we are all in different locations.
Correct.
We're showcasing our hotels in the backdrop. Yeah. Rakesh, thank you so much. Someday I will tell you a story of how this man has made through, broken the glass ceiling to be where he is. He's slogged it. We all have, right? We all come from very humble origins, right? And I'm very proud of where you are, each one of us. We are quintessential middle-class children, and that sums up our beautiful industry. Pankaj, thank you so much. He was the general manager when Taj President was my home. I started with Rohit Khosla, then Pankaj came in, and I stayed then with him at the Taj Samudra in Colombo. Yeah, I have to come and stay with you in Hyderabad.
Look forward.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I love you all. And thank you to this wonderful industry who supported a lot of careers and communities. Thank you again.
Thank you, and have a great weekend.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Rakesh, Pankaj, Roopa, JP.